Waycross presents an election forum for Springfield Township Trustee. There are 4 candidates running for 2 seats. They are in alphabetical order: Mark Burning, Joe Honorlaw, Soraya Lattimore, and Lisa Youngblood.
Welcome to this Waycross election forum for Springfield Township Trustee. I'm Dana Gagnon, Executive Director at Waycross Community Media. Thank you for joining us, and thank you here. We have 4 candidates in our studio. We have Mark Burning, Joe Honorlaw, Soraya Lattimore, and Lisa Youngblood. I was so close to getting through that whole list in one piece. Thank you so much for joining us. This is live. This is how you know that we're actually doing live television tonight. That means that after each candidate has a chance to give us their 2-minute opening statement, you will have the chance to email any questions that you have for the trustees to live@waycross.org, only if you're watching us when we're live on September 29th. All the rest of you, you'll just have to watch the recording. That's all you get. But if you're watching us live, you can take a minute to email us your questions. They will come to this magical device right here on the table in front of me, and I will be able to ask the candidates your questions. There are some rules. You must be a Springfield Township resident to ask a question. So when you send your email, include your name and your street address and the community. I will not read all that on the air. I'll just say first name and the community. We just want to make sure the questions are coming from the same people that will be voting for these candidates. So one more thing is that questions must be phrased for all candidates and not targeted at one candidate in particular. Okay, now that we've covered that, we're going to start with our 2-minute opening statements, and we're going to go left to right, so we are going to start with you, Mark.
Hi, my name's Mark Burning, and I'm honored to serve as one of your Springfield Township trustees. In Springfield Township, we're getting things done plain and simple. Over the past several years, we've worked hard to deliver real results for our residents. This includes great progress on our roads as efficiently and as economically as possible. We brought in strong economic development, businesses like Chick-fil-A, Dutch Brothers Coffee, High Grain Brewery, City Barbecue, Tri-Health, and now they all call Springfield Township their home. We've heard nothing but excitement from our community about the progress we've made with these new stores and restaurants. Just as important, we continue the excellent work of our police, fire, and public works department. These men and women provide the services that keep our community safe and running every single day. My focus has always been on practical results, responsible spending, and keeping Springfield Township a place we can be proud of. I'm very much looking forward to diving into some of the issues during our discussion tonight. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Now, Joe, it's your turn.
Thank you. My name is Joe Honorlaw, and I've served as trustee of Springfield Township for many years. During that time, along with my fellow trustees, we've implemented many policies which have improved the township. We are blessed in Springfield Township to have a truly professional staff and employees who take great pride in the township. They have a sense of ownership, and it shows. There are probably too many things that I would like to talk about, so I'm going to hurry through a few of them. But in order to promote safety for our citizens, our fire department long ago implemented a policy where we only have licensed paramedics on our EMS runs. That's unlike many of the jurisdictions around us. We also institute a policy where we have Lucas machines, which are advanced life-saving machines to help our citizens that are having emergency needs out in the field. We've created a paramedicine program to make it easier for clients to access health care. We've contributed to economic development, as Mark said, and experienced $75 million in redevelopment in the township. We purchased Warder Nursery, a 42-acre nature preserve for green space and recreational opportunities. In the last several years, we've obtained $10 million in state grants to add to our local levy funds to repave 39 roads in the township for a value of about $17 million. We can go on and on from there, but I would say that we have also been very instrumental in creating new housing choices for our residents.
That's great.
Thank you.
And if you're watching and you heard that horrible clattering bell, that's just the thing that keeps us on schedule to make sure we can get the most possible questions in. It does give us a game show type of feel, though. I could change the sound, but I feel like I'm not going to. And so now, Saria, how about you?
Hello, my name is Saria Lattimore. I'm running for Springfield Township Trustee. This is my first time running for any type of position. But I just wanted to talk about my priorities. When elected as a Springfield Township Trustee, I just want to bring forward, focus on forward-looking, bringing a fresher perspective to bringing a fresher perspective, as well as focusing on families and the things that need to be brought into Springfield Township to bring in younger families, keep younger families, and keep our older residents as well. And I also want to focus on community growth, such as jobs, safer neighborhoods, and just bringing resources in that benefit everyone in the community. I also have decided to run because I wanted to bring transparency, accountability, and diversity to Springfield Township. Right now, there isn't a lot of or any diversity within Springfield Township's administration. And so those are the things that I look forward to talking about tonight and the things that I prioritize when elected as Springfield Township Trustee.
Thank you. And Lisa.
Hello, my name is Lisa Youngblood, and I want to thank our two incumbents because they have done a great job. One of the reasons that I am motivated to run is because there are 12 neighborhoods in Springfield Township, and when you go through those neighborhoods, you can clearly see that some are thriving and some are surviving. And so one of my motivations is to find out why is that, and to make a difference. Another thing that I am focused on are programs, me being a military vet, I definitely would like to develop programs that will serve elderly people, that will serve disabled residents, as well as military veterans. Also, I would love to develop ambassadors, identify and develop ambassadors in each of the neighborhoods, because I can't even imagine how much work it's been for the current trustees to keep up with all of the neighborhoods, to stay in constant contact, knowing all of the needs and being able to address them. So one of the things that I want to do is work with the communities, find ambassadors who will be that constant bridge between the communities and the trustees, and then also work with partners, external and internal partners, as far as creating workforce development opportunities for the residents. Train them, help them become entrepreneurs, and put the business right back into Springfield Township.
Okay, that's great. Now, if you are watching this live, you had a chance to hear the opening statements, and that means now you are also welcome to email your questions to us here in the studio. They will come to this device, and I will be able to ask your questions to the candidates. Remember, they have to be phrased for all the candidates and not targeted at one particular one. And on that note, I'm going to start with a question from a resident. This time we will start with you, Joe, and move down the line, just so you know. This question comes from Seven Hills. It says, what ideas do you have to make active transportation, such as walking, riding a bike, safe for kids in car-centric areas, such as Mount Healthy North Elementary, where Struble Road and Hamilton have no sidewalks, crosswalks, flashing school zone lights, or any other traffic calming measures?
Okay. I think they're referring to county roads where we do not have, by law, jurisdiction over those, that we can, dictate what's going to happen. With that said, I can tell you that we have worked with the Hamilton County engineer repeatedly on numerous projects where the road is controlled by the county, and we have been able to sometimes coerce, sometimes prod, do whatever's necessary to get the county engineer to try to come up with solutions for our clients, in our residents. We have that, we've seen that recently with some of the schools on Winton Road. We've had issues with Galbraith Road at Ronald Reagan, and we've worked with them to make some improvements there. But I would say that would be the place that you start, is with the county, with the roads that she just described, not being township roads. That would be the place that we would want to start. And I found that the county engineer, they're receptive. They just installed a walk, signal for us that we were asking for on at John Paul II School. So yeah, we would work. We've partnered well with them in the past, and that would be where I would start with that.
Okay, great, thank you. And we are still working with our 2-minute question limit. We'll use that for most of the night until it gets to the end and we have to go faster. But that was well within the time. And Saria, how about you? How would you answer that question?
I think, go along with what Mr. Analar said. I think it's important to build relationships with Hamilton County as well as our other cities and townships that we touch to be able to bring forth safety in those areas. So Struble, I would believe, kind of touches Colerain Township, and although it might be a county road, I think if you develop relationships with, say, for instance, Colerain Township, and then you, like me as trustee, as well as a trustee of Colerain Township, go to Hamilton County and say, this is what we need, this is required for the safety of our residents. That's how I would approach it, going to speak with the residents that live in that area to get stories from them to understand what is really the safety issues, how is it really affecting them, and then collecting those stories and going to Hamilton County and saying, hey, yes, these are your roads, but these are affecting my constituents, and so we need to come to a common ground on how to provide safety for them.
Okay, great, thank you. Lisa, what would your answer to that question be?
So, I guess the phrase that's coming to mind, trust but verify. I believe Mr. Honorlaw, he's been a trustee since 1996, I believe. That's a long time, so I have to trust that he knows what he's talking about, and I absolutely support what Ms. Saria is saying as well, developing relationships and just expanding your allies and your advocacy can help make that difference, otherwise wouldn't happen. In addition to that, just really getting into office and understanding the do's and the don'ts and the legalities of everything, which I don't know at this point. But I will promise that as trustee, I will trust but verify, as well as build those relationships and just see if there are any opportunities to meet that residents' needs, because safety is first, right? And then we want our babies safe, so.
Sure, thank you. Mark, what's your answer to that question?
Well, as Joe said, they are county roads, and our only control is to work with the county on those. But I did, since we had somebody from Seven Hills call in, I did want to point out that a couple things we have been able to do in Seven Hills is we've had the last couple years what they call a Neat Streets event, where we get a bunch of the community together and go pick up litter and walk the neighborhoods and just, kind of get a feel for what's going on there. And we've instituted about 3 or 4 years ago litter pickup, because a lot of the problem with some of the businesses in the community were even restaurants would not pick up litter outside their restaurants, and there's litter all over the place flying on into the street and such. So during the summer, we hire people for the summer to come and try to keep the neighborhoods as clean as possible. So there's a couple things we've done for Seven Hills, but as Joe said, most of the major roads are county roads, and we aren't even allowed to plow them. If we don't like the way Winton Road was plowed, we can't do anything about it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I think we've gone down that whole list. I haven't forgotten anybody. So I'm going to move to our next question. We're going to start with you, Surya, and we'll do 2 minutes for this one. This is a hard one to do for 2 minutes.
Well, thanks for the warning.
I figure I should give you a second.
I don't know
right?
if that's good or bad. Is that
You don't
an easy
wanna-
question or
No,
a not
it's
easy
fine.
question?
It's fine. This is, I mean, it's kind of, I didn't mean it to feel like a game show, but it kind of does. What do you think are the top 3 issues facing Springfield Township today?
That's a good question. So the top three things that I believe are issues facing Springfield Township today are, one, bringing in economic or building on economic growth. Our property taxes are high, and so bringing in businesses that can help lower those is a priority. Also, just from being out in the community while campaigning, understanding that infrastructure seems to be a concern of residents as well. And then just resources altogether. Residents seem to not know where they can go to get resources for the things that they need. So I think those 3 are 3 main issues right now that are facing Springfield Township.
Okay, great. Lisa, what would your answer be?
We hear taxes while we hear roads. So I'm just going to peel off and do a couple others. I spoke with our first responders, and we know that they're like one of the busiest police forces around. And one of the things that they told me was that a lot of their calls are regarding medical issues. So then you wonder, like, the people who they're responding to, what type of insurance do they have? Are they connected to good resources? Do they need help navigating processes to sign up for additional support? For example, if you have elderly people that's on Medicaid, do they know that Medicaid will pay for their transportation to their doctor's appointments? One is just really engaging with the community and finding out why is their volume so high when it comes to responding to medical issues? Do they have gatekeepers, primary care providers? Another thing is really getting the communities in all 12 neighborhoods to love where they live. You hear a lot of comparison with Finneytown, just really keeping people engaged and letting them know that Finneytown is Springfield Township's downtown, and encouraging them to patronize more. And then also, lastly, definitely workforce development opportunities. If you have residents that want to own their own businesses, connect them to resources or schools or unions, get them trained, get them certified, and then help them build their own business and encourage them to execute that business in Springfield Township. So in addition to some of the, standard ones, I want to tackle those.
Oh, perfect. Just in time for the bell. That's right. That bell is there for our entertainment. Also timing. Mark, what is your answer to that question?
Okay, well, first of all, I think one of the priorities is keeping police and fire. I mean, one of the hurdles that all communities are facing today is that there's not enough firefighters, EMS, and police officers. We've been fortunate to have a very strong police department, and there's a lot of pride in it, and consequently, we stay right around the number that we're comfortable with. Firefighters, it's a little tougher. We've had to go from part-time to full-time on a lot of people just so we keep them, because there's so many openings out there for full-time firefighters. The next thing would be to continue to improve our services. We've added, in the last few years, in addition to the neat streets and the litter pickup, we've also gone back to brush pickup for our residents. So if you have a tree that falls and you got to cut it up, just call us and we'll come and pick up the brush, put it by the curb, and we'll come and pick it up, clean it up for you. And the last thing is just keeping and hiring qualified candidates, because it's difficult out there to find. There's so many openings in township administration and such, just trying to get the right people in there. And we've been pretty lucky to hold on to a lot of our help for quite a long time. So those are the three things I would say.
Okay, great. Joe, what's your answer to that question?
I wish I had more than 2 minutes, but let's start off with taxes. Taxes are high in Springfield Township. We're a bedroom community. We developed that way many years ago. We don't have the industrial base that other communities do. And so we have been creative in looking at ways to try to increase revenues from those kind of properties. One in mind is we have a property down near Paddock Road and Section Road in Edgemont. It's the old Quantum Chemical site. It's a very polluted site. We've worked with the prosecutor's office, the city of Cincinnati, the Port Authority to get control of that property. The port now owns it. They got it away from the guy who had it. And we're looking to get state funds to remediate that and turn that back into industrial property that will help with our tax base. Engagement is a big thing in the township, and we have worked very hard with that. Whenever anybody has any communications with the township, we're going to have somebody that follows up with them the next day or two to make sure that the services that they received were the right ones. And we started this thing called municipal hospitality, which when it first started, I thought, oh, I don't know about this. But it has been a huge success. People appreciate being respected. People appreciate having a sense of community, a sense of value, and that what they bring to us means something. And so we have done this, and we've just had rave reviews from. We've had people come into our meetings and say, "You sent me a letter for picking up trash in Seven Hills. That was the nicest thing that ever happened." And, so that's...
It is a hard one to get into 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But that's a great introduction to what you're looking at. So I appreciate that. Saria, how about you?
I started it.
You started it.
I mean, if you want to give me 2 more minutes.
Just do another. I need a bell over here. Okay, that was just a test, and they passed. So now you know. We want to make sure that we're not too serious. Okay, well then I'm going to go to my next question, and that means, Lisa, you're going to be first this time.
All right.
Because we're definitely keeping track. So, based on these answers, we're concerned about property taxes, but at the same time having resources and having businesses available. What are some ideas that you have or some resources that you know of that will allow the township to attract businesses or services or organizations without having to use tax dollars? And we're going to start with you. Yes,
That would
I
be
know.
the hard question.
It's the worst.
So, one thing is, I know that there are some neighborhood action committees in certain neighborhoods. I would really like to encourage every neighborhood to activate and participate in their neighborhood action committee meetings. And the reason is, I think if they established a 501c3, for example, then they could independently seek funding to support some of their needs. Now, as far as attracting businesses and tying that to attracting businesses, the independent funding could go to help change the mindsets of the community, where they come up, brainstorm some ideas, work with developers, talk with people who own a lot of land. For example, in Seven Hills, there's a lot of underutilized property there. But then there are people who own a lot of land there. And so it's a matter of talking to them and just seeing what opportunities would they be open to as far as bringing businesses or doing the, like if somebody is certified in childcare, will you let them lease this spot so that they can provide childcare services in the township or something like that? And then just really talking to developers and going after grants, establishing the 501c3s and, just following some of the path that has already been laid out.
Okay.
That's a complex one.
It is. It's a little bit of a complex question,
Yeah.
but and this it's a pop quiz, but it's just to see what ideas.
Yeah, just
what
working
ideas
with
you have.
people. You have to work with the citizens and the township.
Mark, we're going to go to you next. What's your answer to that question?
Well, first of all, almost 60% of our property taxes go to schools. And we get a little less than a quarter of the property taxes that are paid into the township. But what we've tried to do with economic development, we have the Tri-Health Hospital on Galbraith Road. Christ Hospital just put in a new building on Winton Road. We have a child surgery for dental surgery place opening soon. Not to mention City Barbecue, High Grain, all those types of businesses that have opened, and those all help with our property taxes. The only thing I would also say is, as we go forward, we're going to continue to do that, but we also have 3 subdivisions that over the next 2 to 5 years are going to start building homes, and the impact on that's going to be huge. You're talking about over 400 homes and over $130 million of development funds being used to build all those homes. And obviously, all those things are going to help property taxes, in different communities. So that would be my answer.
Okay, great. Thank you. Joe, what's your answer to that question?
Well, it's important when you're in a township like Springfield that you look at all the levers you have and everything that you can do. One of the things which I think is key to bringing in new development is to have the amenities and the things that people are looking for today. I can tell you, I sit on the Hamilton County Land Bank with, the county commissioners and the city, the mayor of Cincinnati and the people from the Greater Cincinnati Port Authority. And one of the big things that they all talk about are breweries. And they were like, breweries are, in kind of today's world, a catalyst for other economic development. That was one of the reasons that we went out and actively sought a brewery for the old bowling alley Brentwood Bowling Alley when it went under. And we were able to get High Grain to come in there. We worked with them, got them federal and state grants to build the place. And I do really believe that because of that, the developers that are going to be developing the Diebold property up off of McKelvey Road, Dries, said, we want to be there. This looks like an up-and-coming neighborhood, a community. We want to be in your community. So that, I think, is important. We've created a community improvement corporation where we're doing things to help businesses and local neighborhoods make their communities better, more attractive. But there's a multitude of things that we can do. We're constantly looking at ways to save, to be more efficient, to cut costs, and it's paid off. The biggest thing, though, that we can do is trying to get state and federal grants, which we have been very successful at for a community our size.
Great. Thank you. Surya, what's your answer to that question?
My answer for that is I want to focus on the fact that Finneytown is a great place. It's downtown, Springfield Township. It is being developed, as we all can see as we drive down Winton Road. However, Springfield Township is bigger than just Finneytown. And so we have other areas that need to be developed. We have other residents. We have residents in other areas that need things in their communities. So, for instance, you have Seven Hills, like Ms. Youngblood said, that has a big shopping center, but it's not really being developed. There's a strip in Edgemont. My father has lived in Edgemont almost my entire life. Used to be barbershops, hair salons, things like that. That's now empty. There's now a strip, I believe, in the Pleasant Run area that is not developed. And so focusing on the entirety of Springfield Township is how I would focus on or tackle that question, as in bringing things into the community. You know, I understand that there's developments for housing, which is great. That brings in more families. However, we need more than just that, and we need it in more than just Finneytown. We need it in other areas as well. And so making those connections with state, local, city governments, other townships. We touch a lot of different communities. And so building those relationships where maybe two communities can go after a grant together, or just building so that we're not in it alone, but making sure that our residents as well are benefiting from it, and not just focusing in one area of Springfield Township.
Okay, thank you. If you are watching this program live, I'm just going to take a moment between questions to remind you that if you're watching on September 29th, you can email your questions here to the studio, and I will ask the candidates your question. It's like television magic happening in front of you. Email them to live@waycross.org, and we can bring them into the studio. Make sure they are targeted to all the candidates and not at one in particular. You know, we told you that at the beginning anyway. We are going to move on to another question, and this one is from a resident. We're going to start with you, Mark, this time. This question says, what are the trustees' plans moving forward to control the utility aggregation cost increases that have been recently implemented? And we're going to start with you, and we have 2 minutes for this question.
Okay. I would like to control the energy prices across the country, but unfortunately right now, energy prices are skyrocketing. What I will tell you is our aggregation, while it's gone up, has not gone up as high as what Duke would go. And one of the things we've done in the past is when Duke did get competitive with our aggregation, we've had our residents moved off of the aggregation and onto Duke while we wait for the prices to come down before we sign a contract for, let's say, a year, depending on the rate. We may sign for longer than that. But what we try to do is our partner that does all of our aggregation will literally come to us and say, hey, prices are so high right now, you don't want to sign a contract now. We're going to switch over to Duke for the next 3 months. Prices will come down in the fall, and at that point, then we'll look at, signing a new contract so that your residents will save the most money. So as far as the rates going up, that's going up across America, and there's nothing we can do to control that, but we will take you off of our aggregation and put you on Duke if that's in the best interest of the residents. So we've done that a number of times over the years to try to save our residents as much money as possible. That would be my answer.
Great, thank you. Joe, what's your answer to that question?
Well, I have to agree with Mark. We don't get to control the energy markets, but what he said is true. We've been very successful with energy aggregation. I remember when this started 20 years ago, and we were the first community that successfully did it. I think Greene tried it, and it kind of failed. But we were the first community, along with West. We got a group of communities together. It was Liberty Township, Westchester Township, and Springfield Township. I don't remember if Coleraine was in it at that time or not, but we got everybody together, and it said there's a potential here to save money. And the truth of the matter is, over those 20 years, we have saved the residents millions and millions of dollars. And this isn't something that local governments have to do, but it was something we thought, we're going to go out on a limb here and try and make things better for our residents. So it's really worked out well. Mark's right. We're going through some gyrations in energy prices right now, and so we will get out of the market when our buyers tell us it's not the time to buy. We did just pass a motion this past week to get back in to have our administrator sign a contract to lock in our rate, which we think is going to be a good rate, at least for the short term. And one other thing while we're on this, aggregation has always been important to me. We've done it here more recently with garbage. And, people think, oh, garbage aggregation. But and so we haven't saved as much money as with the energy. I think the average homeowner is going to save $285 over the next 5 years. But what we did do is we got recycling for all residents. And I think that's very important. It's an environmental thing. Now everybody can have recycling, and it's good for the community. It's good for nature, everything. So to me, it was another win.
Thank you. Thank you. How about you, Sarah?
Right now, I'm not trustee, so I'm not, in the ends of what's going on within the township and the administration. But I would be looking into partnering with other communities and finding ways that we can lower, building relationships so that we can lower energy. I can't disagree with either of the two people that went before us that energy prices right now are absolutely crazy. But just building relationships, finding ways to save residents money. We live in Springfield Township. I live in Springfield Township. So me saving money for the community saves money for me and my family as well. So just working with whoever we can to make sure that we have the best rates for our customers. Maybe trying to find things that are longer term than maybe just 3 months. That way it's not confusing to the residents. 1 minute we're here, 1 minute we're there, 1 minute we're here. Once again, I'm not trustee and I'm not within the ends, so I don't know how complicated that is, but trying to find solutions such as that because we all want our energy bills to go down. And so that's how I would approach that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Lisa?
I would like to mirror a little bit of what, excuse me, Ms. Saria said, and definitely follow behind what Mr. Burning and Mr. Honorlaw said. I'm not a trustee, so I don't know all of the ins and outs. But as a resident of Springfield Township, I wonder, how many utility vendors are out there? Do you say to one, hey, we have options, so let's negotiate? I don't know, but that would be something that I would definitely look into.
Okay, great. And we started with you, Mark, so we're going to move on to a new question. We have a question that came in the email, and this in the email. How old am I? Here's the question. This time we're going to start with you, Joe.
Okay.
What life experiences or what uniquely qualifies you to run for this position?
Well, I'm an attorney. I've had my law practice in Springfield Township since 1981. It's in the active practice of law the entire time. I've represented thousands of township residents for their legal needs. And I think my legal background helps me when we're dealing with complicated legal issues that the township often has. Sometimes court cases, there's lawsuits we get into. There's times we're suing somebody, such as that quantum chemical property. But so I think that helps a lot. And I will tell you this: I grew up on a farm. Always worked, and I take this job very seriously, and so I put that into everything I do for the township. But with that, it's helped me. It's helped me serve on some of the other boards. I'm the vice president of the Hamilton County Township Association. I've represented the Township Association and Greater Hamilton County on the Hamilton County Stormwater and Oversight Board, and then also as a member of the Land Bank. So those things, my experiences, life experiences, I think, have done a lot to help me be successful as a trustee and bring good advice that maybe another trustee who isn't in that field may not have.
Okay, great. Thank you. Saria?
So I'm from Cincinnati. I went to Wentwoods High School, which touches and is part of, I mean, not part of Springfield Township, but you have residents that go there. I met my husband in high school. I had a son in high school at the beginning of my senior year. I still graduated on time. I went to Berea College, which is in Kentucky, on a full ride scholarship. Took my son with me while my husband was on a full ride at West Virginia, University of West Virginia. Once I graduated Berea College, which was within the 4 years, came back home and went to Northern Kentucky University, Salmon P. Chase College of Law to obtain my law degree. During that time, I got married. I got pregnant my second year of law school, and still graduated on time. And then following that, I went on to work at the Hamilton County Public Defender's Office for 4 to 5 years, and I now work at the First District Court of Appeals. So I'm also an attorney, and working with the Public Defender's Office, I represented indigent individuals, meaning people who cannot afford attorneys. I did adult misdemeanors as well as represented juveniles. And so I think that background, my personal background, gives me determination, motivation, and perseverance. And when I put my mind to something, I see it through. And then also just my legal background, I've had those conversations with people who live in communities just like Springfield Township. I understand the lack of resources that people have, and it just, I think, gives me a unique perspective on the true issues that people see in their day-to-day life, and it has allowed me to work throughout my legal career on making those things better, and that's what I plan to do as trustee.
Okay, thank you. Lisa, what's your answer to that question?
So my resume may not compete, with everybody else's resume, but I will share this with you. My father didn't have past a 3rd grade education. My mom didn't have past a 7th grade education. I was the first in my family to graduate college. I went to Xavier. I was the first in my family to go into the military. I was honorably discharged. Since then, I've worked with reentry programs, Hamilton County being one of them. And what that means is that I'm good at changing mindsets. I work hard. I'm grassroots. I'm going to be in the neighborhoods. I'm going to be talking to people. Not to say that my fellow trustees aren't doing that, but this is what makes me unique. I'm a worker bee. Worker bee, B-E-E. I just want to clarify that, okay? I'm just saying, okay. And I did this all. I achieved my goals while being Black, while being a female, while being broke, okay? So it's really about engaging with people. All of the jobs or the jobs that I've had working with returning citizens, you have to get out there into the communities and work with organizations and say, here, they need second chances. We need them, they need work. Will you employ them? Will you give them an equitable opportunity to change their life? And so that's what I'm here for, because I have that kind of courage. And I am that diverse. I can speak to anybody. It doesn't matter what neighborhood they live in.
Okay, thank you. Mark, what's your answer to that question?
Okay, my life's experiences, basically, I started out in high school downtown at Ben's Department Store selling shoes, and over the years I was promoted to the point where they made me the general manager of Sporting Foot and Things when I was 21. We grew to 5 stores, and then I took a rep job in Chicago and lived there for 3 years before I took a sales management job in Cincinnati. And then in 1993, I got my own rep agency, which we were able to grow to almost $90 million. So I feel like I've been a leader all my life. I've always been promoted, and that along with serving on the board of Little Brothers Friends of the Elderly, which basically works with shut-in elderlies that don't really have any family, and those are basically the things I think, the life experiences that I brought to the township, along with the experience as a trustee for the last 12 years. And I do think experience does matter.
Okay, that's great. Thank you all for answering that question. I feel like, thank you, Megan, for sending us that question. I feel like we got to hear a lot of great stories there, and I started getting really engaged and not paying attention to what I was doing. But I am paying attention, and I'm noticing that we are getting towards the end of our hour already, believe it or not. So I want to make sure that I leave time at the end for everyone to get to do a 2-minute closing statement. Now we are back to starting with you, Surya. So you get to go first, and it's time for our 2-minute opening statement. Our 2-minute. No, we're at the end now. 2-minute closing statement.
Okay, so I just thank everybody for this opportunity. It's been an honor to meet them, being up here with Ms. Youngblood as well. I just told a story about myself, and I think that brings a unique experience to the township. I, will bring a younger perspective, and that's not anything towards, people who are of age, because they bring a lot of wisdom, but at the same time, the world is changing. Also, I've been out in the community. I've been at the Neat Streets events. I've been out in West College Hill. I've been to the Action Committee meetings. I've been in Seven Hills. And so I have been able to engage, and when elected trustee, I plan to continue to do that, because that's the only way we know what needs to be done for the people in our community. Like I said before, my priorities are to be forward-looking, so doing things that brings growth and progression to the township, as well as focusing on bringing in resources to the communities. Like I said, as a public defender, I have built relationships, or I know how to call out and bring things into bring things in to help people. Also, just making sure that we prioritize safer neighborhoods, building those relationships with our neighboring neighborhoods, our local governments, state and federal governments, to bring transparency and accountability to the township, and just to bring diversity as well. I know that kind of scares people sometimes, but having a person that can bring that experience is something that is great. So I hope you all vote for me on November 4th. Thank you.
Oh, timing, perfect. Nice job.
I was watching it.
Lisa, how about you?
So I'm going to start off with a little bitty story real quick. So I remember when the cell phone vendors changed from the BlackBerry to, a more advanced cell phone, and everybody was stealing people's phones. And I had left my BlackBerry on the counter. Nobody stole my BlackBerry. I was like, how come nobody's stealing my phone? It was like, because we passed that point now, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying that to say that while our trustees, our current trustees, have contributed so much to our communities, it's time for a change. The change because we're closer to the communities in real time. We're in the communities. I'm in the communities. I'm currently working with Seven Hills and their action committee to help them develop as an independent neighborhood, not independent from Springfield Township, but to just empower themselves. I've organized basketball leagues. I've worked with the YMCAs. I've served as a board member on the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce. I am very versatile, and I'm very adaptable to my environments and whatever needs to happen. And I just want everyone to know that I will be your voice. You won't lose your voice. I'll be your voice. And I will stay in touch with everyone in some form or fashion. It's not going to be easy, but I am going to enlist people from the communities to help me be successful in this role as I work with, the other trustees. I'm looking forward to the mission. I'm looking forward to the challenge. And I hope you vote for me.
Great. Thank you. Mark, you're up.
Thank you for your time and attention tonight. I've always believed being a trustee means putting the township first, above politics, above personal interest, and above everything else. We've made amazing progress, but there's more work to do. If I'm reelected, I'll continue to focus on maintaining strong public safety, reasonable financial management, complete transparency, and steady improvement to our roads and neighborhoods. Springfield Township's a community that we're all take a lot of pride in, and I'll keep working to make sure it stays that way. Thank you for your continued support, and I ask for your vote on November 4th. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Joe, up to you.
Dana, thank you for hosting us here this evening, and it's been nice to meet with the with Saria and Lisa and Mark, and to hear everybody's story. And I want to thank the people of Springfield Township for allowing me to be their trustee. I'm running for re-election because I deeply care about Springfield Township in the future of the township. As your trustee, I want everyone to know that I've always approached the job with seriousness and professionalism. I believe, as I said, my legal background is an asset in helping the township navigate some of our complicated issues. I have the work ethic I think I've demonstrated throughout my years to devote to the township, and that's why I'm not only trustee, but I also serve on other boards that promote township governments. And if I'm reelected, my only objective is to make sure that we do what is in the best interest of the residences and the business. I can tell you that we have always worked in an open and nonpartisan manner. During the entire time that I've been on the Board of Trustees, when I served with many other trustees, we never had one vote that was not unanimous. And that's because we always approach the problem, look at it from all angles, and all agree on this is the best thing for our township. There's no place for partisan politics in Springfield Township when I'm on the board. I think my experience in leadership has produced real, tangible results for the community, and I hope you will give me an opportunity to continue on November 4th. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'd say saved by the bell. It seems it's just I'm too much enjoyment. Nice job.
I'm still on too. I was like, my God, I'm about ready to pass. Is it hot in here or what?
It is hot in here.
It is warm in here.
Thank you
And
for
for
cutting
those of
me
you
off.
who are watching us on the air, I'll let you know that we're under some good serious TV lights to make this the real thing. That's how you know. I want to thank all of you for being in the studio today. We could stay here much longer and answer many more questions, but we're too warm, and we're not going to do that anymore, so you're going to have to reach out. I do want to thank you for watching as well. That means that you want to be informed when you fill out your ballot. If you need more information before you vote in the upcoming election, you can watch all of our election forum programs online at Just kidding. See, I'm hot, and we have cooked that brain by now. That's called live. You can watch our election forum programs at www.waycross.tv. Yep, that's where they are. You can also go to the Hamilton County Board of Elections website, and there you can make sure you're registered. You can look at a sample ballot, update your address and your name, and you can find out where your voting location is. Register to vote by October 6th. That is the deadline to register. Early voting starts October 7th. We will see you at the polls on November 4th. I'm Dana Gagnon, Executive Director at Waycross Community Media. Thank you for watching.
Waycross takes no positions on candidates or issues. We conduct these forums so that our viewers may be better informed voters for the November 4th election.